Have you ever stepped back and reviewed your life to try and determine how you developed your character, who you are today? I look back and think of my childhood, the weekends and summers spent with my grandparents, and the events in my childhood home growing up. These events clearly molded the person that I've become today. My great-grandmother, she would wake up very early and wash her face with the boiling water on the stove, and then she would start cleaning her house and doing her yard work. I was like a puppy. I followed her everywhere. I adored my grandmother, and she was my strongest Christian role model in my life. To this day, when it rains in the summer, I can still smell her house, her clothes, and I can see her sitting in her chair praying. My maternal grandmother was also up very early. She would make a huge breakfast of bacon, eggs, grits, and homemade biscuits always. She would serve my sisters and my grandfather and then fix her plate last. When we were done, she would then clean up the kitchen without asking any of us to help. All of this after working all night at a canning plant. For 20 years, she worked in Winter Haven, Florida, canning citrus. During season, her hands were torn apart and sore from the acid. But yet I can remember her every night washing our faces and our feet before we went to bed and making sure that all day long we had any of the food that we wanted. My maternal grandmother was fun. She taught me how to whistle very loudly, much to my mother's dismay. She taught me to love fried bologna and mashed potatoes. We tootled around town, buying day-old bread, going to thrift stores, garage sales, coming home and reading books and taking naps. My favorite thing to do with her was to watch her make her own cigarettes. She had this unique machine that would push the tobacco into the cigarette casings. And if she let me do that with her, I was thrilled. My mom was busy at home raising 3 of us girls, which was no easy feat because we are all 2 years apart. My mom was so cool. She would play dolls with us, dance around with us to Tom Jones music, take us on picnics, and whenever we wanted to play hooky from school, she would let us. As we evolved and I grew into teenage years, I started babysitting. And my mom always taught me that when I'm there, the lady of the house probably had to rush home and get ready. And so I should wash her dishes and pick up for her so when she came home, she could be relaxed. Not only did that tip get me more babysitting work, I was also able to then start cleaning households for the neighborhood ladies around the neighborhood. My mom also prepared all of us girls for our business roles in the world. She taught us to be confident, to coordinate our outfits, don't wear your skirt too short, and to always be prepared for whatever experiences life brought our way. My dad, throughout my childhood and into young adulthood, was not a great communicator. He was very taciturn, and he would prefer to walk away from a confrontation than to work through one. However, his actions always spoke louder than any words he could have used. He was committed to our family and is committed to our family. He's a true head of household. He worked for 40 years to provide a retirement for himself and my mom, and he would always sacrifice anything that the 3 of us girls or my mom might want over anything he might want. And he still does this today with the 3 grandsons. He's there for them at any event. He's there to support them, and he calls them each every day. As you can see, I've been very blessed with great role models in my life. I have a strong passion for hard work, commitment to family, and a strong Christian faith. I value all of these experiences that have happened, all of these role models. I love my work, and my career has evolved more than anything I could have imagined. My favorite thing has been raising my 21-year-old son. We like to volunteer together, go to fun events together, And yes, we fight and argue, but we always know in the end that we are there for one another. I would like to believe that I've imparted the same values and beliefs I was raised with to him, and hope someday to share those with my grandchildren as well. We can all benefit by stepping back and reviewing our life and finding how we developed the character who we are today. Mr. Toastmaster.
Excellent job.